gimbal. It was really... Let me quit this quick time. I'm still learning how to use this new program, which is called Restream. You will notice that we'll probably start to get Facebook people as well as YouTube people in. If you look at the chat, when you see the little symbol, that's YouTube. We haven't got anyone from Facebook yet, but if you did, it would show up as a little Facebook symbol. So just so that you know what's going on. Change the look of the studio too, so it's all now soundproof. I'm going to do a video too which shows a difference before and after. It's incredible how different the audio actually sounds. You're probably not going to pick it, but it really does. So let me just hide that one. So this is just pre-show, guys. We're going to change over probably in 5 minutes. Just let people to sort of know that we're streaming here. When it was good morning, David. You got your wish for a wide angle. I know. How good is it? I just wish I had some money. But I will talk about it. But at least they've done it now, which is great. I wanted a 12 to 14, sort of in that range. And I'm going to talk about that. Actually, today is the first story. So we're going to go through that. Hero is here as well. G'day, buddy. Chris is saying he wants a Miller Lite. He's saying it's cloudy, but he does want a Miller Lite still. Harmon saying greetings. Hero is also saying, anyone using Luminar AI? I've got it. Kerry likes it, so Kerry uses it a lot. I've switched over to Capture One. But yeah, it's very similar. It's just it has a few more AI features. So if you can do the update, I probably would. I mean, it's similar, but it does work a bit faster, etc., and things like that. And I suppose if you've got a Mac, for instance, well, they'll bring out an A1 version. They won't do that for Luminar 4. But I have got it. I use it occasionally. But yeah, it's Kerry uses it all the time. Gilbert's also in here as well. G'day, Gilbert. How you going? It must be late for you over there. What else have we got? Hey, I'm drinking Miller Lite. I've got a coffee. Like I said, it's early now for me because it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's 9:58, so this is my son's concreting business, Four Seasons Concreting. He's going to set up a YouTube channel. He owns... quite a bit of gear, which is also land, sort of earth-moving gear, massive trucks and big bobcats and stuff like that. So he's going to start streaming it, all his work that he does. So that's going to be interesting to see how it all goes. Sorted out, David. Thanks, Gilbert. Yeah, I know. I didn't have the audio turned on. Now there's audio. Not sure what that's saying. Hope it's nice. David's early. I know. It's not late today. How good is that? No more gimbals shine. I know. I've got one behind me. You can't see it, though, because it's so dark back there. I wonder if I could turn... Well, if I turn the TV on, you'd see it. That's there. But, yeah, I've got all the gimbals in the other room ready to sell, actually, so I'm going to sell them all. But I have got another gimbal that I'm going to review. I'm off to Sydney this weekend. So I'm going to be taking a new gimbal that I want to review there as well. I was hoping to get a couple of other things that are being sent to me that I can't talk about because I'm under NDA, but I was hoping to get a couple of those here as well, but I don't think they're going to come in time. But yeah, the gimbal shrine is gone. I've got one gimbal there. Awesome man from down under. Thanks so much, John. English only in the chat, thanks. Yeah, because we just don't know what you're saying. So good point there, Gilbert. Please buy me the 150 to 500. I'm going to talk about that today because I can't wait to get that lens. 35 shipped today. That's the GM, everyone, I would suppose. Michael, g'day, Michael. How you going? Nice to see you here. Audio sounds good. No noticeable room tone. No, it's worked really well, actually. And I haven't done the ceiling, which is interesting because these ceilings are really high. I was wondering whether I was going to have to do the ceiling but I don't know if I am. I'll just keep checking it to see. But I've noticed it's okay on this. But if I go to the other mic, it makes a difference. So it might be that one, because if I switch, oh no, I have to turn everything on. I won't switch over. I've got a boom mic as well. And I think that was picking up some of the ceiling. But from this aspect, it's fantastic. And I've done the walls. I'll do a whole video about it because I want to sort of show what we've done. But I'm so happy with how it works. And when you hear the difference between before and after, wow, I couldn't believe it. Even Kerry initially said, what do you want to do this for? And I said, because there's a little bit of echo coming in. It's not like an echo, but it's like you're standing in a bathroom or something like that. And she went, oh, okay, because she couldn't hear it. But then when we did it, she went, oh, now I can see what you mean, because even when you talk, it sounds different. And then when I played her the video before and after, she went, wow. She was amazed how different it was. What Apple laptop did you get? I didn't get a laptop. I've got the M1 MacBook. The M1 small computer. So I'm using that one. I love it. That thing is nuts. When you think what I've got plugged into that, it is crazy. I'm also, look, the things I'm going to do in the future, you're not going to believe. I've set up a green screen in my other studio, and I will show this later. I won't give a peek today, but I'm also going to be using wireless cameras so that I can go and do shoots and things like that and move between here and, say, go out to the studio and do shoots. So the channel is going to really up its game. And I've got multiple wireless systems that I'm going to be using as well. And I've got I've got one ATM Extreme. I'm going to have another ATM in the other room, and I'm going to be able to sort of switch from both rooms and everything. It's going to be amazing how it's all set up now. I'm really excited about it all, so can't wait. Now, Facebook user. Now, what you do, just let me copy this for a minute. Now, if you click on, let me just open up Facebook just so that I can give you this, because if you go to this channel, just allow it, it will say who you are. Let me just come over here, new window, and let me go to Facebook. Is that coming through there then? That's interesting. Just the typing. Let me go to Photography Videography School, because it's broadcasting live there as well at the same time. Let me just go into here, and I'm going to put a comment in here. Now, if you click on that, if you go to it, it's free. It doesn't do anything. It just means it gives you access. It lets this program I'm using know who you are. So I'll see it not as Facebook user. It'll actually show as your name. Stop that, David. It's interesting because it never used to do that. Like if I tap this, listen, that's amazing. Yeah, it's because it's so dead now, it picks it up. All right, now let me go down here to see who else. Technicolor Dreaming. Good to see the Chief. Now I had to do it today because I'm in Sydney tomorrow. That's the reason why I'm not doing the usual days. Also, next week, we'll be back with Aaron on Wednesday. I couldn't do it this week because I had to see a specialist about the cancer that I've got there, but it looks like everything's going to be okay. I went to see the specialist. I'm going back on the 17th, and they're going to cut out more, but he was very, very confident that he'll be able to get it all. So, that's good news. So next week I'll be back on the Saturday, I think, unless I've got a wedding. I don't think. If not, it'll be on the Friday. I'll let you know anyway. Hello from Holland. Here, Mike's there. G'day, Mike. G'day, Panda. How you going? Good to see you here. I'm going to start in 2 seconds, guys, a couple of seconds. Sup, man. Interested in the 14 for architectural. Yeah, it's also going to be great for astrophotography as well, I think. So, it's going to be really interesting. Let me go a couple more. Hello, David. Put 20,000 images through my Alpha 1 in the last month. Wow. Met all my expectations and more. I'm sure it did, Mick. I'm still waiting to use that. Greg keeps contacting me, and I've been busy every time he contacts me, so I can go and shoot it. And what's this? I want a GPU I can edit on my LPC. Yeah, don't we all? I wish I could put one on the Mac Mini, but you can't at this stage. All right, so I'm going to get started because Mike just said, are you going to get AirTags? I probably will because they do seem to be really good. I might talk about that in my other channel, actually. but I haven't put a video up this week, so I must do that. But yeah, I may talk about all that sort of stuff there. I am going to sort of cross do things for a while just to get people across. So you will be seeing stuff that I'll probably post on both channels. Hello from Florida. That's Rocco. Let me just catch up here and we'll start. Capture One is great, but their upgrades are pricey. Yeah, I know. It's not cheap, but I do love the program now. And Capture One is going native M1 next month. I can't wait to see the performance improvement. I mean, it works really well at the moment, but if it's the same improvement that I've seen with everything else when it's gone native, I cannot wait to see it. Like Ecamm, the other editing, the sort of video streaming program I use has now gone native, and it's unbelievable how much faster it is. So I can't wait to see how well Capture One works. And next month is the date, apparently. All right, so are you going to? I love that. Are you going to close your gimbal museum? Yeah, because I'm going to sell them. I mean, there's no point keeping all the stuff that I've got there. I'll try and sell them anyway. Nice interface. Yeah, it's good. This is called Restream. Now, it's not cheap. It's around $40 per month. So it's not cheap. There is a free version of it, I think, but then the comments and everything like that get held back by 15 seconds or something, whereas they come through, after about 5 seconds through this. And obviously you can do less streaming and things like that, but I really do like it. It looks really good. It does sound different, so you can hear the difference, Gilbert, can you? Yeah, I can really hear it. But like I said, if I showed you the before and after, you would be amazed how different it actually is. What are you selling? Give it to me. Audio sounds great. DJ David on Triple J. I love it. The only thing, some people will say it bottoms out a bit, like it might be too low, but I mean, I don't know. Look, it is probably what it is now, but I can go through the ATM Extreme and then I can do compressors and I can change the settings and stuff like that. But at this stage, I'm just sort of getting everything working, All right, so let's get started because we've got some really interesting lenses today. It's nearly all lenses today. I am going to talk about the A1 though, as a sort of in comparison to what the Canon announcement was in size, and things like that. But we've got incredible lens announcements. So the first one. So let me just clear this for a second. I'm going to share the screen and bring up application window. And what do I need? This one. All right, so let me just go side by side because I think it probably will work best like that. So let's have a look at this. So this, I can't make it any bigger though. It's a pity because I just thought that's one thing where I don't like this as much because it just doesn't go any bigger. Oh, well, it is what it is, but I'll take you through it all anyway. I don't expect you all to read everything that's there at the moment anyway. Now, the Sony 14mm 1.8, I have been talking about this lens for so long, and you guys that have followed me for ages would know that. I've been dying to get a wide angle lens from Sony, and like they really are just kicking goals at the moment. I mean, it's incredible how much they've released in the last 6 months. It's incredible. So this is really interesting, and I think if you were the reason why I want one, for instance, is because I often like to shoot the bride once they're changed with the wedding dress and everything pulled right out at the back, and then shoot from very low, and they could be looking out a window or doing something or incorporate if there's beautiful lights there or whatever. Well, I like to shoot that way all the time, and sometimes 16mm is not wide enough. And then I've had to revert sort of down to the 10 to 18. But that's an APS-C lens. And look, it's a pretty good lens, but it's nowhere near what you'd get with something like a quality GM lens or something like that. So I've been really interested for Sony, and like I've said for ages, I thought that was one thing that they've had missing. And this looks like they've hit everything out of the ballpark, really, because it's an amazing lens. It's nice and small, would be great on a gimbal. If you're into astrophotography, this would be incredible. And also architecture and things like that, because it seems like there's very little wrong with it. Well, if anything, it's an f1.8 14 millimeter, and that's ample. You don't need a 1.4 or 1.2 if you're dealing with such wide focal lengths. I think that's perfect. Plus, it would be huge if you started to go down, to 1.4 or 1.2. I'd be happy with 1.8. I mean, I think it's going to be brilliant. It has your usual aperture ring, your extra buttons on the side and things like that. They're just saying it's very, very light. It's only, 46.1, they're saying, in 460 grams, which is really light if you think what it is. It does have a bulbous lens though, and that's the thing with these lens, the wide angle lens. They always have that bulbous front cover. So if you are going to use NDs, if you're not going to use the flat panel ones that you put at the front, you're going to have to use NDs inside the lens itself, or I'm not sure. I'll have to read this because I'm only looking at all these now. I've been that busy that I haven't gone hardly onto the internet. So all the lenses today, I'm looking with you for the first time. So whether this has and I'll keep scrolling down, it might have the attachment at the back you can put the filters in. If not, you'd have to use the ones where you put them in the sensor. But we'll keep going down anyway and see what it is. I remember I was shocked at the size of the weight of the 24. I know every time I put that lens on, it's on here. It's brilliant. And this is my, honestly, still probably the favorite lens that I use for general type work. I mean, if I'm going to portraits, I love my 135, but the 24 is just brilliant. And this is just going to be just as good. And it's certainly something that when I have the money, I'd like to pick something like this up. Let's keep going down and have a look at what they're saying about it. This will be a tough choice for people, I'm sure. I think they're talking about whether to get the 12 to 24 instead or switch to the prime lens. I do prefer the prime lenses. I love shooting primes. Now, it's up to you. The 12 to 24 is still a great lens. So if you did want to go that way, that is still a really beautiful lens. And in fact, you have got 12 millimeters. In some ways, I would love a 12 millimeter, but Sony may do that one day. I'm not sure, but 14 is I'm still happy with that. But I would love like a 12 millimeter prime, a GM. That would be just unbelievable. But if you did need 12, you could get the 12 to 24. And if you want those sort of, the main lenses that wedding photographers use, you could have the 12 to 24, the 24 to 70, and then the 70 to 200. And that's the trinity of lenses that would cover everything for you if you were just doing weddings and you wanted to cover all of those focal ranges with 3 lenses. So you could do that quite easily. I like primes, but it just depends, how you shoot. So the size, the 14 millimeter is left. So this is the 14 mil. We've got the 24 in the middle, 1.4, and then the 20, 1.8. I mean, look how small. I hate it when they put these on because you probably find it's almost exactly the same size. They shouldn't do this where they put the lens cover on. It may not come off. Does it come off? Perhaps no, it probably doesn't because of that bulbous front element. Yeah, that's probably how it is. So they all look very similar, don't they? Is the filter thread? Oh, I wouldn't tell you anyway because you can't put a filter on it anyway. I was just thinking that the filter thread, but it doesn't matter. So it looks great if you look at it like that. I mean, what a fantastic wide-angle lens if you wanted to stick this onto your on a gimbal or something like that. So like I said, this would be incredible for architecture. It would be incredible for astro, as well as, like I said, for me, where I wanted to capture a hell of a lot of the environment and have a really nice, beautiful-looking image. The design is the typical design of the GM lenses. Like I said, you've got your aperture ring, which is great because I love to use that all the time when I'm doing video so that it changes smoothly instead of being clicked. You have the button on the side. You'll have your manual autofocus there as well, I think. Looking at it, I'll have to see when it comes down. I suppose the manual focus and autofocus is on. Oh, yeah, I think it's down here. So you can sort of see it there. So it does have those 3 things that are there. You can click the lens on, obviously, auto if you want to go that way, if you did want to use it as a normal type lens. I usually don't leave it on auto. I usually control the aperture manually. I like doing that. And I love, like I said, how it's smooth it is if you take it off the de-clicking. If I'm doing photos, though, I will put the clicking on because I like it to make sure I don't change it. Looks great on the camera itself. A nice sort of balance, I think this would be. Nice and small, not too heavy to lug around, so that's also great. I think it looks beautiful like most of the other lenses that are out there. And then there's just some sort of images that you can look at here as well. I will leave all of these down below so that you can have a look at the images itself, but it looks like it's really very well controlled if you look at it. I'm just going to scroll down and see what it says, anything else. Let me look down here. Like I said, I'm looking at this for the first time with you guys. Just trying to see if they say if it's sharp. What I saw, the center crop, I was extremely impressed. So they're talking about it's very, very sharp in the center. It looks beautiful. I mean, these images look lovely. I mean, I know you're only looking at them through YouTube, but they still look really beautiful if you're looking at them. It's just saying beautiful, smooth background. So the bokeh, it looks like it's going to be really lovely. Not that you'll see much, but if you get close, you will see the bokeh because that's how these lenses work. And you can see it, in fact, if you look here, how much the background is out of focus, the flowers in the background there as compared to the one that's in the foreground. And that's what I often do with these wide angle lenses. I'll get very, very close to what I want to shoot, and then it blows everything, sort of blurs everything out in the background. So it's a 9 blade aperture as well. I'm just still looking. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I mean, if you look at these images, like I said, I'll leave them down below and you can have a look. So that's the first lens that I wanted to talk about. So that looks really good. Now, the other lenses that we're going to look at now are, let me just see what the next one is this is a size comparison because I just wanted to show you this. On the left-hand side is the Sigma 14 1.8 and on the right-hand side is the Sony. Again, if you look at that, it's massive, the difference that you've got there. I mean, I certainly would prefer to be holding the Sony rather than the Sigma, that's for sure. But there is another Sigma lens I'm going to talk about a little bit later. I think it was a 35. So overall, I think this is a real winner for Sony. And each lens they're now producing, even the G lenses, like all the lenses that are now being produced really by all the suppliers, you know, Sigma, Tamron, Samyang, Sony, all of the lenses that are now being produced are just outstanding. But the GMs particularly really are, you know, that one level sort of above everything. I think these newest ones, just for features and everything that's included in them. The other lenses aren't far behind, though. I mean, like I said, Sigma and Tamron are producing amazing lenses too, you know, for probably less than half the price. So you sort of have to think about which way you would like to go. But I know if I was using a gimbal, I would prefer to be holding the Sigma, the Sony lens here rather than the Sigma lens. The next one we're going to look at is the Tamron. So Tamron have spoken to me, and I am going to be getting these lenses, I think early May or sort of middle May. So I can't wait. This one particularly, I'm really excited about getting. The 150 to 500 mil. I mean, I don't shoot very often at anything like that range, and that's probably why I'm really excited about giving this a go. Because I'd love to say go out. Now we are coming into winter, so whether I can do it, but I'd love to go out and say try and capture surfers and you know, some birds and things like that I don't normally do. So I'm really excited about getting this. Now this lens, if you look at it, it does. I'm trying to see what the controls are there. It's hard to see. I don't know whether it shows it a bit further down. I'm just trying to look down here what it says, but it's 150 to 500, and it's f5 to 6.7, and it's the Di3 VC VXD. So it looks like it will be a typical Tamron lens that I think will be really, really good value for the money. It says, where the Tamron 150 to 600 has proven popular for digital SLRs, the new 150 to 500 is sure to entice Sony sports and wildlife photographers. They're saying, just let me keep coming down here, the maximum aperture is 6.7, and I think that's fine. It has a maximum diameter of 3.7 inches. Which is 9.3 centimeters, and 8.3 inches, which is 21.1 centimeters in length. I'm just trying to see here what it says. The lens weighs 4.1 pounds. which is 1.9 kilos. So, yeah, they are a little bit weighty, but you'd expect that. I mean, it's a big lens. Now, it's saying here at 500 millimeter with the Tamron, it's about the same physical length as the 400 millimeter. I think they're talking about the Sony there, yep. With the 2500 Sony, yeah, 100 to 400. So it's about the same length as the 100 to 400 Sony lens. Like I said, I'm looking at these exactly the same time as you guys are looking at them. It's probably got focal length adjustments and things like this on the lens. I just can't see what they are yet because they're not really sort of showing it. Let me see what it's saying here, if it does mention anything. It says here we go. It says the outside of the lens features a focus ring nearest the camera and a large zoom ring towards the outer end. There is a lock switch, yeah, because you don't want the lens to creep down, and I found that you do get that with a lot of these, you know, the lenses that come out like that, the barrel lenses. If you drop it down, they can have creep coming down. So it's great that it has a lock to stop that happening, because it is really annoying when that happens. It does have a focus limiter switch, which is what I thought it would have, focus mode switch, image stabilization on-off switch, and a image stabilization mode switch. So it probably has the switch that will enable it to, depending on whether you're panning and zooming or whatever you're doing, it'll have a different switch for that as well. The front threads, so they have moved away from the 67 with this. They couldn't obviously do it. It takes 82 millimeter filters. So I think it looks great. And like I said, I can't wait to try this thing out. I might be able to go and say photograph some kangaroos from a distance and things like that. I told you a little bit further down. You can sort of see all the settings through here as well, how it works. Is there anything else that we need to look at? Like I said, if you want to check these charts out, I'll leave this all down below as well. And then it's just showing some images of it being used. Like I said, I will be getting this. Look at the price, $1,400. That's amazing. It will be incredible. Now, it's meant to be shipping on June the 10th. Like I said, I'm meant to be getting it early May or mid-May. So we shouldn't have long before I can post a review video for you guys with this on. But I can't wait to try this out, because this looks like it's going to be a real winner. And again, at that price range, I couldn't justify paying for the Sony lenses, but at that price range, I could certainly justify, hopefully next year, but I could justify, say, getting something like this because it's not that crazily expensive. If you want to look at a comparison of the size between these two, this is the Sony 200 to 600. You'd expect that to be bigger. It's 600 mil. This is the 100 to 500. So you can see it's sort of very, very similar to the Sony 100 to 400. It's just a little bit longer in the length of this. But overall, I think you'd find they'd both be sort of about the same to hold on to. It's got 25 elements and 16 groups. The minimum focusing distance is 0.6 at the wide end and 1.8 at the telephoto. So if you want to get close, you've obviously got to go at the wide end. I'm just trying to see. Filter thread is 82 millimeters and the weight is 1725 grams, and the tripod mount is 155 grams as well. And there's a whole stack of stuff you can read from that as well. So how cool is that? I mean, that is amazing. I'm just going to come back to the chat at the end, guys. So if people did want to leave or whatever, they can, but I'm going to answer all the questions at the end. Let me just have another drink. Now, this is another one that came out today, and I thought, like, when they messaged me, I thought, what? How many releases? How blessed are we in the Sony realm at the moment? Like, this is crazy, the amount of stuff we're getting on Sony at the moment. So they also announced that there was going to be an 11 to 20 millimeter. Now, this is an APS-C lens. Tamron have been terrific now. This is their second APS-C lens. So this is another one that I'll get to look at and review for you guys, probably about the same time, I think. So what are they saying? It's 11 to 20. It's also 2.8 DI. 3A RXD variable angle lens, but this is APS-C. Like I said, you could use it in full frame, but you would have to crop. Tamron says that it's the world's first ultra-wide angle zoom lens in its class to feature a consistent 2.8 aperture. Again, Tamron's kicking goals. And I don't just say that, but using the 28-75 for me is one of my main lenses that I use in weddings. I love that lens. All of the Tamron lenses are really good. What else are they saying in here? Firstly, the lens has a full frame equivalent of a 16.5 millimeter at the wide end. So if you did put this on your full frame, it will give you 16.5. So that gives you an idea, and also if you're using it on APS-C, it's equivalent to 16.5. And 30 millimeter at the long end. Tamron says that this range mixed with a constant 2.8 aperture makes it particularly capable of multiple uses from street photography and landscape. Again, looks like it's got the usual weather sealing that Tamron have and the same build quality, which I've said to all you guys before that the build quality from Tamron, they do some voodoo stuff with the lenses because they just do not mark. They are so well wearing. And if you compared it to, like, I do look after the G Master lenses, and I have started to look after the lenses more. But if you looked at, say, my 16-35 and lenses like that, even the 55, they do scratch and things like that. They still work fine. I mean, they work fine. I'm not saying it affects the performance, but if you're just trying to sell something or whatever later, my Tamron lenses that I've got look as good as the day that I bought them. So they do some voodoo-y stuff with the material that they use on the outside, which is, it's like, it must be a really high-end plastic. And they're very, very well weather sealed as well. I'm just trying to see too what filter thread this is. In addition to the useful zoom range, the 11mm wide end has a close focusing distance of just 5.9 inches. So you'd probably be able to use this as, like Tamron usually does, which is a pseudo macro. So, you're going to be able to have that as well, which looks terrific on that side. The company says that the inclusion of this feature invites photographers to exploit naturally occurring distortion for creative effects. Like I said, if you shoot with a wide angle close up, you do get some really interesting effects. The lens size looks terrific. It looks really nice if you look at it. You can sort of see here this on an A6000 or something, A6600 or whatever. It looks like it's nice and balanced on that. It obviously will have the shaft that comes out, so you've got that as well. The lens is only 3.4 inches long when collapsed to the smaller, so it's really quite tiny, and it only weighs 11.8 ounces. Does it say what the filter thread is? It's got an aperture range of f2.8 to f16, so it won't go above f16, so you can't get to f22. It's got and is constructed of 12 elements in 10 groups. It's also got these extra low dispersion elements and stuff like that, which makes the image quality look so good. Let me just see down here. I just want to see what filter thread this is. Does it say? It's also got the autofocus system is driven by Tamron's RXD. That RXD focusing is really fast. I mean, it is really fast. Every lens that I've used with that, I've been so impressed with. So that's, and it's exceptionally quiet. That's also important too if you want to use them for video. I use the 28-75 often for video, and it is dead quiet. You can't hear it at all, and it works, fully with the IAF and things like that. Oh, it's got this. It has got that. Well, that's interesting. So it's also got the 67mm front filter thread. So they seem to be keeping with that, and that is, I just can't be happier about that because I only ever have to have one set of filters for everything that I use. So that's terrific too. They've kept the 67mm filter thread there as well. The price, they're saying that this is going to be available June the 24th, and it's going to be $829. However, Tamron stipulates that due to current global health crisis, the release date could change. So, but that's at this date. I think I'm going to be getting probably both lenses around the same time, I believe, which is sometime next month, the middle of the next month. So stay tuned for those reviews coming up. Let's go to the next. Like I said, it's lens craziness today. It really is. We're just so blessed. And Sony. This Sigma are also going to have a competition apparently for the GM because this is the first. There's a leaked image of the Sigma 35 1.4 FE lens. Now, this is where it gets interesting though, and I can't wait to see how this compares because we may be surprised at how good this lens is. This is the first leaked image. That will be announced April the 27th. They're saying it will be $899. Now, that's $500 cheaper than the Sony 35 GM. Another source previously told us about this new lens. Compare it to the Sony GM at the center of resolution, it's as good as the Sony. At the corner of the resolution, the Sony GM is better. So if you're worried about corner sharpness, and that could be an issue, like if you want to do astro, for instance, or you're doing architecture, corner sharpness is really, really important. For me, I don't care if the outsides aren't sharp. The only thing that really matters to me is as long as the center is, because I sort of like that naturally sort of, out of focus look. And I'm often putting vignettes and things like that on the outside anyway. So the corner sharpness doesn't bother me at all. So I'm really interested to see how well this works, because this also has, if you look at it, it has the aperture ring as well. So Sigma seem to be going that way, and you'll have an AF manual focus switch on there as well, and you may have, your another sort of programmable button over here. I'm not sure what that is, but they're also saying the AF speed is slower than the Sony GM. The Sigma art is much lighter and cheaper, so it's lighter than the GM. So that's interesting how they've done that. Due to the issue of the 28 to 70 art announcement is delayed, Sigma will start to sell this lens in July or June this year. So it's interesting, and one I'd love to have a go at. I really wish we had people here from Sigma that would sort of give me stuff to try out like I can with Tamron. But anyway, that's quite exciting as well. If you haven't got the money for the GM lens, this lens might be good. Obviously, if you want the ultimate focus, if you want the ultimate sharpness, the GM lens will be the way to go, and they've sort of already said that. But you have to wait for the full reviews to sort of see how that is. Another lens announcement here as well, coming soon. Samyang have been kicking goals as well. Samyang have announced a 12mm f2. Now, this is an APS-C E-mount lens that will be announced on April the 23rd. So they haven't announced it, but it's meant to be announced on April the 23rd. Looks beautiful if you look at the lens design, though. Oh, no, that's the 24. Yeah, this is going to be the new one here. Their lenses now are really, they have improved incredibly over the last couple of years. The lenses that I used a fair while ago used to have trouble focusing, and they were very noisy and things like that, but they have improved the lenses drastically. There's no announcements yet on pricing or anything else with that. But wow, it's incredible. I just noticed Ike saying, wow, the Sigma is updating their legendary 35 1.4. Yeah, no, that's what I used to have, actually. I had the Sigma 35 1.4, and I loved it, Ike. I used to use that when I was on my Nikon days. So I would think that that is going to be a brilliant lens. If it's anything like their other 35, it will be brilliant. Now, the last story before I open up Q&A, and I'll answer everyone's questions. The Sony, I wanted to just basically talk about this because this is interesting. We can't talk too much about the EOS-R3 yet because it's only initial specs have been announced, but you can now get a sort of a guide about how the size will be. So this is a guide between the two of them about the design. I came from using the D4S series, and I did used to like it, but the weight got me in the end. And as I got older, I found it harder and harder to use. But I can understand why people love that robust build, because honestly, like when I had the D4S, that thing was built like a tank. Like I said, I've dropped that and rolled it down streets, and it basically picked it up and it didn't even have a scratch or mark on it. They are incredibly robust built machines. And I must admit, the design of the Canon one, I think, is really quite beautiful. I love that design. I love the way the EVF is sort of built into the top. Like, it's not a big chunk at the top. It's beautiful, nice round edges. It's got that nice grip to it. I think the design is really, really nice. And I think this is probably the design that their high-end model that will be released, whatever they call that, will be the same design as this. I think this was just rushed out basically to compete with A1. I think they have an idea of having something above this, 1DX Mark, whatever, or whatever the highest end model will be. So I think the bodies will be both exactly the same. But it just shows you the difference in size of what Sony have been able to do in miniaturizing things down. Now, I way prefer that because I like to carry around less weight these days. So for me personally, that is what I would like to do. But Canon really have done, it seems like, and we have to wait for the full reviews, I remember, but it seems like they have put out a good competitor to what the A1 is. And in fact, I think if you're probably a very serious sports shooter or something like that, it would be a nicer camera to hold and use than probably what the A1 will be. Now, you can add a battery grip to the A1, yes, but it's still not the same as having a camera built like this, which is all in one, and you have better waterproofing and things like that. I mean, these cameras are built that way, and like I said, I know about that because I used to shoot the D4 series. I would not really like to go back to that size camera, though, again. I would prefer the A1, but at least Canon are upping the game. They're now really starting to push Sony, which is great, because for so long I did think that we weren't being pushed enough, or Sony wasn't being pushed enough, and there wasn't as much innovation. Well, all of a sudden, when Sony's been pushed, we're getting all this stuff out now that is incredible. I mean, I remember talking late last year about 8K, and everyone was saying it's not going to happen, and it's here. It's great. So I'm excited about the R3 to be released, because it may also then push Sony again. And if they release their, whatever it is, the R1 or whatever, I don't know what they're going to call it, whatever that camera will be, that may push Sony again to produce something even higher. So it's just terrific. And I'm excited about that. So, yes, I love Sony, but I'm also excited about other companies doing well, as well. And I'm sure Nikon will do just as well with their high-end versions of this too. So that's all there is for the news. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to the chat and we'll go through that. So let's have a look what people are saying. I'm going to come down to where everyone starts to talk about what microphone am I using? I'm using the Rode, I think it's, what is it? It's the Rode Mic Pro I'm using. So that's what I'm using at the moment. I like these mics, and they're not expensive at all. Gilbert said, good to know you're okay. Yep. I mean, you never know, Gilbert, but the doctor, the specialist, seemed to think that I would be fine. He seems to think that they'll be able to get it in the next cut. If they can't, they'll have to do a little bit more again, but he was confident that they'd be able to get it all out, which is good. I'm just showing the people that were saying hello. 30 frames per second is easy to take 20K in a month. Yeah, that's true. If you are shooting a lot, it certainly will be if you're shooting a lot of these cameras. Now, the good thing, like I said, also about the Canon, it's going to be interesting to see whether with that release, the R3, whether they're going to be, I know they're saying it'll do 30 frames per second, but we still have to see how the rolling shutter is and things like that. That's where we have to wait to see what it's like. Is that sensor going to match what the A9s and the A1 series can do? So we still have to wait for that. Stuart said, trialed an A1 today, so YouTube video coming soon, 128 gigabytes of photos today. Wow. How did you like it, Stuart? Dustin Abbott just did a very comprehensive review and comparison of the A1. Check it out. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. What's the shutter lifespan? I don't know, but look, it should last basically forever because you'd be mostly shooting an electronic. Remember, that's the benefit of the A9 series and the A1. I very rarely ever use mechanical shutter, and I only ever use mechanical shutter when I have to go to flash. Now, the beauty is with the A1, you don't even need to use mechanical shutter for flash. So really, there shouldn't ever be a worn-out mechanical shutter. Something else will break probably before that does, because you're not using the mechanical shutter. You'll be using all electronic. I mean, in fact, the A1 probably signals the mechanical shutter eventually being phased out. And I can honestly say that now, that I think that's the way it's going to go. It was always the flash side of things that held it back, and the rolling shutter and things like that. Well, those things now have been solved. So I can see future versions of the Sony cameras, you just won't have a mechanical shutter in them. There'll be no need. Hope you're doing well. I'm DeBrown's also in here. Yeah, the mechanical, well, there you go, 500,000 electronic indefinite. Yeah, that's right. So it's 500,000 if you use a mechanical, and you'd never reach that anyway. The camera would be probably destroyed before it got anywhere near there. And electronic, like I said, it will never run out. Excited to see what the story is with these Apple HDR mini LED displays. Yeah, it is. It's going to be great to see what they are, particularly things like the new iPad and stuff that's going to be coming out is going to be really exciting. Wow, I didn't know that they get native next month. Yeah, Capture One is native next month if you have an M1 Mac. Yep. So if you've got a new MacBook or MacBook Air, or the Mac Mini like I have, they're all going native next month. They haven't said when, hopefully really soon, because I can't wait to see the performance improvement. I'm loving Capture One, and I can't wait to see it native. It's going to be unbelievable. Panda said $40 a month. Yeah, that's for this program. It's not cheap. You can get a free version of this, though. They're just talking to each other. What have we got here? That 150 to 500 sounds interesting. When you get it for testing, can you compare it to the 200 to 600? I haven't got one, unfortunately, Hero. Like I said, Sony never looks after me in that regard. So, I haven't got it. But all I can do is test it and show you the results that I'm getting out of it. And that's, you'll know then whether it's good enough for what you would need. And like I said, I always tell the truth on how these lenses are. In fact, Tamron tell me, to be honest. So... audio is great. Voice in sync with image is fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, the Panda says, how is your skin recovering? Yeah, I've seen that. Had an issue with someone throwing hot water over his face, which was pretty bad. Sadly, I have to sleep now. I'm not surprised some of you. Oh, I got this. Panda gave a donation. I didn't even see that. Sorry, Panda. Super chat, $25 from the Panda to Oastler. Sorry, I haven't been around. Healing from the wounds. But that Sony 1.8 is nuts. That's the only thing with this one. With the other channel that I've got, it shows, it comes up as an announcement so I don't miss it. So sorry, Panda, that was probably ages ago. But thank you so much for the donation. I hope you're recovering. You look like you're starting to, which is good. You said there too, I am DeBrown. It's going good, but I am blind in one eye for a few more days. Yeah, had a big bandage over his eye. Having the 24 GM and the 16 to 35 GM, I don't need the 14 GM, but it's fantastic to have that option. Yeah, I've got the 16 to 35 f4 version, so I'm using that and I love it. That's probably why I haven't bought the 16 to 35 GM. I don't really need 2.8. I'm not fussed really about that because I can f4 for me. Wide angle is fine, but I would like a prime that's like that. Let me keep coming down to see what people are saying. That's interesting. No more Canon lens envy. Well, I don't think we should be anymore, except for the 85 1.2. That still gives me envy. But whether that Sony release, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Excuse me. Eventually, we're going to get the 85 1.2. I think that's what's probably going to come out. And we'll get a new 70 to 200 and 2470. I think they're going to be things that happen soon. I'm going dry in the throat. No filter in the front is a deal breaker for me. Higher. Well, they all are, Raymond, these type of lenses. They have that bulbous front. You can get around it, though, by using, the square filters. That's how they get around it. Or you can use the back filters if you wanted to go that way. Michael said, my 35 GM loves ordered the 50 and the 14 GM. Money gone. Oh, that's congratulations, Michael. They'd be beautiful. What a great setup. Gilbert said, Samyang have new Sony APS-C lenses being announced later today. Exciting times being a Sony shooter. Yep, and I discussed that one. The 12 to 24 is a great lens, Rocco. That's very, very true. Samyang 12 millimeter, 249 APS-C lens. Shoot in crop mode. Just scrolling down. Let me just close this so... See what else people are saying. Another one saying about the 12 to 24. Nash said, I have the 12 to 24 GM and it's brilliant. I also use the Hader, internal ND filters, 3, 4, 6, and 10 stop. They work brilliantly. I must admit, look, that that bothers me. I'm not really keen on doing that. I just like to put a filter on the front and not worry about it. But what do? There's nothing you can do about it. As a wedding photographer, having super wide is what main benefit to you? Group shots, perhaps? Yeah, group shots. I always use usually the 10 to 18 because I need to get wide enough that I can do that. So yes, but it's like I said, having that bride in that room where they're changing, if it's really tight in that room, is a really big benefit. And I love that grand image of showing the background with the bride with the dress fully down the back, the train and everything. It really does make a difference. It's not something you use often, but when you want to use it, you get that real wow image. Michael said the 35 GM is so good, it made me sell my 35 1.2. The GM is so lightweight. Yeah, completely understand that, Michael. And don't forget to use your thumbs up, guys. Yes, please, if you can, guys. I'd love a thumbs up. It does make a massive difference to my channel, particularly seeing that I'm unsponsored. Ike said thumbs up 31. Thanks, Ike. The Sony 12 to 24 f4 or 2.8, which to buy? It's really, it's up to you. I mean, only you could make that decision. Sigma 100, 400 versus the Tamron. Well, we have to wait and see, don't we? I'll let you know when I get the Tamron just to see how well it works. We got here. I feel like the price is kind of steep for a Tamron. Well, we have to wait and see how good that is. I don't think it is. I think it's probably reasonably priced, but let's see how it is when I've tested it. What's this one saying? The Sigma 100 to 400 is 950 plus collar and 67 millimeter filter threads, much lighter. Not used. Have not used the internal filters yet. Glad to hear they work well. Like I said, I haven't used them either, so I can't say. The Jaded Filmmakers here. G'day, buddy. Another fellow Aussie. Hi, everyone. The Tamron 500 expands when you zoom. Yes, it certainly does. The 11 to 20 2.8 is amazing for APS-C, the perfect vlog lens. Yeah, I agree. It will be, Ike, and that's why I can't wait to try that. Is it just me or did the audio go in and out? I'm not sure. Oh, Heath's saying the audio is constantly breaking up. That's interesting. I wonder why. So is that for everyone or is it just the YouTube thing? We're just drowning in good Sony lens option these days. I know we certainly are. Not sure what that meant. Laugh at just making sure it wasn't my phone. I don't know about big deal. So is everyone having it? Audio sounds like a bad connection, not clipping from overdrive. That's interesting. Don't know what's causing that. So is it still doing it? Must be something in the stream that's causing that, I would say, because the audio sounded really good at the beginning and nothing's changed. So I think, let me know if it's still happening. Sony dropped so many bombshell products, even the haters are silent now. Well, there's not much you can do about it, is there? But yeah, they are. They're amazing lenses they're releasing now. And Ike said, oh, wow, the Sigma is updating their legendary 35 1.4. Yeah, if the audio is still bad, it must be outside because listening through here, it's really good. Good to see Sigma bringing out a proper 35 now. The last one, the 35 Art, was pants. It was amazing. I like the look of your live stream, David. Looks good. Thank you so much, Michael. What have we got here? Gilbert, the original Sigma 35 1.8 Art lens set Sigma on the path of greatness. Yeah, it was. And like I said, I had that lens and it was just superb. It really was fantastic. I loved it. And I think Gilbert was just talking to Ike. The sound is okay now. Yeah, that's weird. It must have been something on the thing, I think. Where were we? Because that jumped down, I think. Yeah, it did. Let me just keep coming back a bit. Ike is, I'm not sure if we have skipped some. I'm not sure. I think it went to the bottom. I can't wait to update my Capture 1.2. I know, neither can I. It's going to be awesome. Like I said, it's fast now. When that becomes native, it's probably going to gain 40 to 50% in speed. I really am excited about that. Can't wait, actually. That 150 to 500 might be in my bag. Yep, I'm excited about trying it, that's for sure. Okay, they're just talking to each other. Brett said, "G'day, Brett, how you going? Got 2 weeks playing with the A9 II and the 200/600mm. Woo, you'll have fun." Panda said, "You're welcome anytime." Yeah, thanks for that donation, Panda. I'm so close to spending my Dodge profits and going to buy the Nikon Z70 to 200 2.8. Ooh, nice lens. Yep, that'd be a great lens, actually. Those new Nikon lenses are superb. Recently got the A7 III and don't understand why I cannot change the exposure dial up or down in manual mode. Is there something I'm not understanding? Oh. The only thing I can suggest to you is reset the camera because you might have changed somehow the settings for those two buttons. That's the only thing I could say is do that. Reset your camera first to see if that resets it, because if you reset it, it would go back to the default. So check that first, and then if that doesn't work, you might have to send it back in. TV sounds like you got an issue as it should do. I'm not sure what that means. Let's keep coming down. Audio did break up earlier a few times, but good for a while now. Yeah, it must have been a YouTube thing. See, Scott said, I'm on Facebook and nothing dropping out. So it was a YouTube issue. Silly YouTube. 42 Pros, the A6600 is the flagship APS-C. Yep. John said, just tuned in. The audio is fine now. Thanks, John. No audio issue. They're all saying that the audio is great now. Brett said, great, thanks, David. Hope you're doing well. And we've got this one here, which is Sigma 35 and 62F2 old series. Oh, awesome. Old school metal with new technology. So that's about it. We're down to how do I stream to multiple platforms? I'm using a program called Restream. I'll probably talk about this on my other channel. I am going to sort of do stuff for a while, just until things move over. But yeah, that's sort of the stuff that I intend to put on the other channel. So this is, just called Restream. So let me just quit that. So like I said, this is a day early because tomorrow I'm going to be in Sydney. Can't wait I haven't been there for 20 odd years or something. So I'm really excited about going there. Looking forward to seeing the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge and stuff like that. So I will be there for the weekend with Kerry. We're really excited about being there. I've sort of talked about a meetup and I'm still thinking about whether we'll do it. I'm just seeing if any people are interested. I did put a comment in the Sony Alpha Sydney Facebook page and also the photography videography school. So I'll just see if it works out that enough people were interested. Apart from that, everyone, have a great weekend. So I may do a quick post from Sydney anyway and show you like the Sydney Opera House or something live, just in case if you're interested in seeing that. So I might pop up for a couple of lives over the weekend. Apart from that, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. Now, I'm not sure if I've got a wedding, I'll have to check, next Saturday. If I haven't, I'll be back on Saturday. If not, I'll do it on the Friday. We should be right on Wednesday to do the live with Aaron. Really would appreciate a thumbs up. Apart from that, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.